أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. We're starting this surah. We have completed the last few from Iqra. All of them are coherent with each other. We will try to do a bit of coherence from Wailul likulli humaza. Even though we can do it all the way from Iqra, but it'll take too much time, and I think you already know those linking, inshallah. The word ma'oon in here is only once that has come in the Quran. Yeah, at the last ayah, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. This is only once. This surah has various names: Surah Yatim, Adiya, Surah Deen, Ara'ayta, or Surah Takzeeb. Various names. They say it's a Makki surah, number 17 in Revelation, so very early on, as per these ulama. And this is a pair of the next surah, Inna A'tainaka Al-Kawther, which we'll be doing today. These two surahs have similarities, but they are kind of opposite. So one is, we'll be talking about the positive, the other one will be talking about negative. So, for example, in Ara'ayta alladhi yukadhdhibu bid-din, the people who are addressed are the criminals, the leaders of Quraysh. And in A'tainaka Al-Kawthar, it is a comfort to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And in here, it says wail, yeah? فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. This wail is like utter destruction, or according to some, it's a valley in Jahannam, which is a not so strong opinion, but at least it's a utter destruction. This is for the criminals, and Kawthar, which we will discuss later on, is for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is the next surah. So opposite here. In there, in here, order has been done to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam to pray لِرَبِّكَ, to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, while the prayer of the criminals over there is that they are heedless with regards to their prayer, and even if they do it, it is to show off for other people, it's not for Allah, and so on. So there are various other that we can talk about, but we leave it to there. Now the surah, before we go into the surah, let's understand one or two things. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to the defense of weak people in the society, especially at the time, and it's still relevant to some of the lands, where the weak in the society, they do not have, of course they don't have parents now, or especially orphans. They don't have dad that they can go to. There is, at that time, there is no law, no police, no government, no courts, yeah, nothing like that. So they were left at the mercy of the people. Now if the environment is good, if they have mercy, they will look after these weak people, and if they're not, then they will trample over it. Yeah. So this is the kind of situation, or these are the kind of the attitude of the criminals have been highlighted in this surah basically. Now, just the linking from the previous few surahs. So last surah, from Wailul likulli humaza. In here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now tells us some of the signs of the criminals, all the way from here, Wailul likulli humazatil lumaza. And they're called batil parastia, those people who are on evil. What are their ways? So in Wailul likulli humaza, their situation is that they propagate against the pious people, they backbite, they slander, they belittle the pious people. We have done this, yeah? And in Surah Fil, their motives are, or they look to destroy the centers of Tawheed that have been known as the Sha'ir of Allah, where they kind of degrade on different types of people. Then in Surah Quraysh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inform or comes to or talk about the people's entire psychology, that they have, their priorities are wrong. They, even though they recognize, they understand the value of Islam and their sha'air, but they still would prioritize wealth, which is happening in Li'ila fi Quraysh. Now in here, in this surah, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you like 6 different traits that are found in these people, in each one of them. The one who has more, the more he is a munafiq, or he is the one who belies the day of judgment, and the one who has less, he is less. Okay, so number one, they are those people who reject the haqq, okay, or they belie, not even reject. We will talk about this. Yeah, they belie, so they even go above rejection. Number two, they are tyrants, oppressors. This is in yadu'ul yatim. They push around the orphans. Number three, they are bakhil, extremely stingy. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. They do not encourage any spending on the weak. Number four, they are ignorant, which is happening in الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Jahil, yeah, ignorance, and they do not pray. Number five, they are those people who show off. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. And lastly, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. They are stingy to such an extent that a thing which is normally given out, as for example, someone asks you a pen, someone asks you a pencil that they need it, not like the guy who always asks, yeah, but someone asks you for a pen, or someone tells you, can I use your bench for a little while, yeah, you're meant to give, yeah, it's not something that you stop that. But these are that kind of people that they won't even do that. Okay, so it goes to the extreme of stinginess. Linking it with the previous surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders that فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. This was an order, yeah, in the previous surah. And now in here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us whether they obeyed that command or not. So this is now their history has been put in front of us. And there, by saying فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, because these people were the people of Haram, yeah. So it is the requirement, or that was the need for them to have the privilege of Mecca, of Kaaba, that they need to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not do that. So they did not give the rights of that, which is happening in أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. And the one who would give the rights, yeah, who would give its due rights, is happening in إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ. So I hope all these 3 surahs make sense in that. And there are many others, but we leave it to that, because the surah itself contains many things that we would like to discuss, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the one who has safeguarded the rights of miskin and yatim, the orphans and the weak. Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful. He has warned all with bid-deen. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful. He has favored the people of certainty with good deeds. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Have you seen the one who denies the recompense? The word have you seen, if it's even speaking to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but that is addressed everyone. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to Rasul, the Quran hasn't come just for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, yeah? He, like you normally, we mentioned this, when a leader is addressed, or like a military leader is addressed, it is addressed to those who are under his command. Similarly, when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is addressed, by that we are addressed. So by this saying ara'ayta, then this will be like every intelligent and thinking person would be able to understand. And another thing, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. When these kind of questions are put in front of people, it does not require an answer, because the answer is always open. But in here, in order to show the emphasis and to show the darknesses of these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even tell you who they are, just in case you have any doubt, just to make sure that it is 100% in your mind, to all those intelligent people out there, that the person or the people who we're talking about are these, which later on we will discuss. Yeah, and saying alladhi, yeah, in here this is important point. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. The one, yeah, it does not mention the person or the people. By this, every criminal who has this illness, will feel the burn. Like for example, when people they have done something wrong, and then you just talk about that thing, and then you look at that person just by mistake, you'll be like, why are you looking at me? Why are you pointing at me? Even though were not talking to the guy, but he has this fear that someone will find out about me. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing them in that fashion, it is to attract and get everyone's attention, because majority of those criminals, those leaders, they had these illnesses. So and by that saying, they will respond back, they will expose themselves further, that oh, this ayah, like for example, it comes in various shan nuzuli background of the surahs, that people responded, yeah, they exposed themselves, that oh, it's talking about me, yeah. يكذب, understand this point, this is an important one, yeah. يكذب بالدين. What is takذib? One is that you deny, you reject, which is kufr. In city center, there was a person who was reading Quran loud on the mic, and there were so many people around him and they were watching him. That was the example. And then Aqib will say, no, I don't believe in that. So this is complete rejection. Now, I speak to Adhan, who has been to city center, he has seen it. And he comes, yeah, and then I tell him that I have heard this. And then instead of he affirming it, he says, no, it's a lie, and it's no one going to be able to read in city center, and this and this and this. So instead of even rejecting it, but he goes out on this mission to belie that thing. So like, even though he knows it, it's a reality, but on top of that, once he denies it, and the other, he propagate wrong information about it. So same thing with these criminals. They understood, because Rasulullah lived with them for so long, so they knew that Rasulullah is not the one who will be saying anything out of order, or the Quran that he's reciting is not the words of a person or human being, yeah. So they understood all these, and even though it comes in history that the people recognized, but they did not want to accept for various reasons. So by this, or even by saying yukadhibu bid-din, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hints at their inner reality. Like as I said, Adhan, he belied it because he knew. And Aqib rejected it because he did not know. So lying only happens when you know the reality. And you cannot lie something which you don't know. You are only rejecting. So I hope this point makes sense, yeah? You can only lie something which you know, which is a reality. So lying is one, they do that. But on top of that, they go out on a mission to say, this is all lies. So this is what they did. So يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. So they themselves do not believe it, and then whenever they sit around other people, they say things to make other people run away from Islam. And deen, يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, there are two ways of understanding. Like we have, if we were to say sight, yeah? Like in English, S-I-T-E, sight. If I was talking to like a security guard, yeah? If I said, did you go to sight, or how was the sight? Yeah? How was the sight? Instead of did you go to the site? Oh yeah, did you go to the site? Yeah, I can say that to one of the security guard. And what he would be thinking? Construction site, yeah? But if I was to speak into like IT specialist, what do you be thinking? Like a website, yeah? So it's even same words, but it will have double meanings. So same thing with regards to deen. One they say is deenul Islam, the religion of Islam, yeah? This is one. And the other one is that, and which is more relevant here, is the day of recompense. And they say the word deen comes out from dain, which is loan. You take money from someone, you meant to give it back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this knife, He has given you all these opportunities, you will be asked about it. So this is day of recompense, where you are held accountable for things that have been given to you. So that opinion you will take. And the importance of the day of judgment, it makes sense to those people who are far away from any belief in religion. If you do not believe on day of recompense, you cannot have a life which encourages you to piety. Or take example, yeah, if there are no cameras, no speeding cameras, no police around, nothing like that, you will do whatever you're going to do, yeah. Those people who wants to speed, those people who want to commit crimes, yeah, those people who wants to find shortcut. Why would someone spend like 12, 13, 14 hours in a site to earn few £100, and then this person can just go to a jewelry shop and break it and take thousands, yeah? Easy. Why wouldn't they do that? But because they are afraid that they will be caught, they will have bad name, bad reputation, they will be going to jail and so on. They are worried for that accountability. Same thing. If a human does not have the real accountability, that they fear that they will be going and meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya, as soon as he gets an opportunity, he will do whatever he comes his way. Like nowadays, yeah, they say honesty is the best policy, yeah? Honesty is the best policy. However, sometimes, in their senses, dishonesty is the best policy. Someone comes in, yeah, and you can deceive the guy, and you know there are not going to be any repercussions. So you will do whatever you're going to do. You will find those shortcuts. However, if you have believe in Qiyamah, if you believe that you will be going and you will be answering for these questions, honesty will not be only your best policy, it will be your only policy. You cannot change it. That will be it at all time. Even if you're alone, you are wherever you are, you will have this feeling that you will need to answer for this. So you will constantly have the policy of honesty. It will not change. It will become your way of life. So that's why the day of judgment is necessary. Going to ayah number 2. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. For that is the one who drives away the orphans. So as I said, فَذَلِكَ. So if you don't know, then let me tell you who this person is, who these people are. It's in that kind of sentence. Or if you put it together, because of this very denial of the hereafter, he is the kind of person, or he is the kind of man who pushes around the orphans. And the ulama say, yeah, because later on, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, is talking about the salah and so on, that this is so important to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before even mentioning and talking about the salah and the huququllah, the rights of Allah over you, he mentions the rights of the weak. So this is not a something small message. Those people who deny the day of judgment, yeah, the big thing one can do is to deny all the rights of Allah, yeah, this is the worst one can do. But before even mentioning that, he mentions that those people, they are oppressors against the orphans. So this shows how valuable these orphans, these weak, are in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or how big of a responsibility this is on a righteous and a pious Muslim to look after the weak in the society. And ulama say there are two ways of explaining what does this mean, this pushing around. One is that someone, as they see the orphans, they just push them around, they don't give them any value whatsoever. And the other is when they have any need and they come to them, they push them around. So both ways. So this is actually, it does not explain, it does not mention which one. But either way, if this person is not showing any honor to the weak, to the orphans, then they are the criminals inside of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this comes in Quran. We will be able to do that in Surah Fajr. كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. No, but you do not honor the orphans. So this is a huge crime, just not honoring. Forget giving them their rights, forget looking after their welfare if you are the one who is responsible. Forget that, that's on a different level. Just not giving ikram, just not giving honor to them, this is a huge crime in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it comes in a hadith where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam have narrated to have said, أَنَا وَكَافِلُ الْيَتِيمِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ هَكَذَا. That person, me and that person who looks after the orphans, we will be like this in Jannah. Yeah? So something like that Rasul sallallahu did. Two fingers you pick together, mean we will be together in Jannah. This is what it shows. And it says, فَذَلِكَ, that one. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way they discredit, dishonored the weak, the orphans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala respond to them in a similar fashion. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدْعُ الْيَتِيمِ. That one, yeah. So the way they are treating the weak in the society, the orphans, similarly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responding to these people. The way they belittle, same thing is happening to them. Now, or in a different way, like these people who belittle the weak or the orphans, I keep on saying weak, which is coming next. Those people who are belittling the orphans in this dunya and pushing them around, same thing will happen to them on Day of Judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَوْمَ يُدَعُّونَ إِلَى نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ دَعًّا هَذِهِ النَّارُ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ بِهَا تُكَذِّبُونَ. The day they are thrust toward the fire of hell with, in the brackets, a violent thrust. And the angel will say, this is the fire which you used to deny. So they pushed around, similarly they will be pushed to Jahannam. Meaning their push that they're giving to the orphans, they are pushing themselves toward the Jahannam, which is a very scary situation we would ponder over. Ayah number 3. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. Okay. So by saying طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, the food of the orphans, this shows two things. One is that these are those kind of criminals who have snatched away their possessions, like it happens in our lands. Yeah, someone become weak. Yeah, someone's dad dies, the leaders or the elders take over their wealth, and they have taken over it. So these are those kind of people. The other is that in every Muslims, in their wealth, there is the right of the weak. وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقُّ الِّسَائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. In the wealth, like the pious people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praising in, I think, Surah Zariyat, that in their wealth, there is portion for those people who ask and those people who are in need. And the orphans, they are in the dire situation. So by saying that you are giving the food out, they do not think that you're doing some sort of favor on it or them. This is their right over you. You meant to do that. You do not even think high of yourself. This is just you are completing what you meant to do. And another thing is by saying miskin is just singular, one. Yeah, so these are the situation of these criminals that they don't even feed one. Forget about building orphanage or looking after thousands. Yeah, it's just one, they don't do that. And the pious people situation Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Balad. In there, Allah informs us of these pious people, how their behavior is in the society. فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ أَوْ إِطْعَامٌ فِي يَوْمٍ ذِي مَسْغَبَةٍ يَتِيمًا ذَا مَقْرَبَةٍ أَوْ مِسْكِينًا ذَا مَتْرَبَةٍ. They are those people who take away people from slavery, and this slavery will relate to many things. We'll talk about that in the surah. And they are those who give food in a day where there is hunger. We'll talk about that later as well. But yatiman dha maqraba and أو miskinan dha matraba, to the orphans and those people who are weak. These are the pious people. This was their attitude. Meaning this is a requirement of the pious people. And these are the opposite. So those people who are sympathetic to the weak, meaning they are those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are following the orders that they're meant to follow. They are fulfilling their rights. Otherwise, if they're not, no matter what they do, as coming later on, they're praying salah, they're going to Hajj, Ramadan, and so on, but they are not looking after the weak in the society, they are not giving the rights of the people, they are not the one whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will honor. But for them is wrath, for them are destruction, which is coming later on. Ayah number 4. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. So woe to those who pray. And we said wail, we talked about this, yeah? Wail is like the utter destruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on those people, or it's a valley in Jahannam, yeah, and so on. There are various opinions. But in here there is opinions that we need to mention, yeah? Just for those people who wants to study. Now, some ulama say that half of this surah was revealed in Medina because فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, they're talking about the Musallin, mean munafiqeen, those people who pray, but they are hypocrite, and the hypocrites were only in Medina, not in Mecca. So the first portion is Meccan till here, the first 3 ayat, and the next 4 are Madani. This is what they are saying. However, that opinion is not strong because the Meccans prayed. Yeah, and as it comes in Quran, Ibrahim alayhi salam made dua, and they are the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yeah, رَبِّ اجْعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي. Oh my Lord, make me an establisher of prayer, and from my descendants. Yeah, And Ismail alayhi salam, same thing, he made similar dua. وَكَانَ يَأْمُرُ أَهْلَهُ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَالزَّكَاةِ وَكَانَ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ مَرْضِيًّا. And this is so these are the father, but directly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about them. وَمَا كَانَ صَلَاتُهُمْ عِنْدَ الْبَيْتِ إِلَّا مُكَاءً وَتَصْدِيَةً. Yeah, that and their prayer at the house, meaning the Kaaba, was not except whistling and hand clapping. So what does that show? That they prayed, yeah. So that's why they say that for Musallin, all of it is Makkan. This is their opinion. Now in here, like in here, if you to pray, if you are leading Salah, yeah, and you say Fawailul Musallin, you cannot say Allahu Akbar and then you go to Ruku. You need to read the next ayah. So you cannot stop in here basically, because the ayah is not complete, the meaning is not complete. Otherwise, you might be the people who are standing behind you, you'll be taking them to Jahannam with you. Yeah. So you need to be by stopping here. Why did Allah Subhanahu wa Taala stop here? This is the point that I wanted to mention. By here saying that just you praying, and the rest of the things that has happened before it, yeah, the way you push around the orphans, the way you treat the weak in the society, and then you start praying salah, you think this will safeguard you with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. No, this salah is a destruction for you. This is basically the entire part of it. And so here is the destruction of the people who pray, yeah. But in Surah Ma'arij, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says illa al-musallin. So criminals are mentioned and then says illa al-musallin, except those people who pray. I mean the prayer people are the one who are pious in the sight of Allah. By in one place saying fawailul musallin, in another place saying illa al-musallin, this shows that the prayer itself does not guarantee you any Jannah, does not guarantee you salvation. The other condition needs to be applied in order for your salah to be complete. Does that make sense? Another thing, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. This, because in different places, وَيْلُ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ, yeah? Woe that day to the deniers. So there is like يَوْمَئِذٍ, or in different places there's like Yawm has come in, I mean the day of judgment. Because this is day of judgment, yeah? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrath will come on these criminals, فَوَيْلُ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Why? Like there is like no gap between Musallin and the wrath of Allah. If you look at the Quran, yeah, there is like no gap. So directly, it shows the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is severe and it's direct. So it is in the severest of form. Like we said, Narullah, the fire of Allah, there is nothing mentioned in the middle. So it shows the gratitude. Similarly, when the words are made shortened, yeah, with the curse or with something, it gives importance to that. It gives the gratitude. Same thing is happening with here. This curse, this destruction that's happening to those people who pray is severe. It's not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates. And this wail has been used for the worst of the criminals, yeah? Like we did this in wailul likulli humazatil lumaza. These are the worst of the scumbag of the society. Same thing has happened in wailul lil mutaffifin, those people who cheat in the scale, worst. So like the worst of the criminals. And then فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ بِأَيْدِيهِمْ ثُمَّ يَقُولُونَ هَذَا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Those people who write books with their own hand and saying this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning they attribute something to Allah. Like the worst of the crimes have been mentioned, and then the worst of the crime with the best of ibadah, yeah? فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. So this message is really heavy, that one needs to be really concentrated. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wrath has been mentioned on those people who pray. Yeah, so as we mentioned from the beginning, and is happening further. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, who are heedless of their prayer. And there is a saying of Ibn Abbas radhiallahu anhu. He says, هو المصلي الذي إن صلى لم يرج لها ثوابا وإن تركها لم يخش عليها عقابا. Ibn Abbas radhiallahu anhu says, these are the people who pray without expecting any reward for it, and if they leave it, they do not fear any consequences, meaning they don't have any value of their prayer, those who pray. And Tafseer ibn Kathir, he mentions a few points, and I want you to concentrate on this, yeah. Who are they? Basically, what applies in here? They do not pray totally, pray late, not caring about the importance of the salah, like wajibat and so on. In front of people, they prolong and shortening because of people. Yeah, so they'll make it long or short because of the people. Those who don't have any clue what he is saying in salah, which is the problem of majority of ummah. Yeah, they do not ponder over the meaning, or they don't ponder over the Quran and they don't understand the meaning. And then the Shaykh said there are that he mentions that if all of these are found in a person, meaning he has more signs of a munafiq or hypocrite. And if he has less, then he is a less of a munafiq. And by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning just one ibadah, yeah, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, just the prayer. It does not mean that just the prayer that you pray and you pray in this fashion where you show it or you are careless with it, then that's only applies. It applies to everything else. It applies to your Quran, your recitation of Quran. How do you do it? What do you take out from the Quran? It's just normal recitation all day, all your life, and then you don't understand the meaning of it, you don't implement it in your life. Or other ibadat, which is just you by its name and it does not have any effect in your life. So all of it is applied in here. So and another thing that we need to know, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, that we do forget in salah. Yeah, that's why the Imam makes sajda sahu. Yeah, so does it apply to us or not? It's a question. Yeah. وقال عطاء بن دينار والحمد لله الذي قال عن صلاتهم ساهون ولم يقل في صلاتهم ساهون. That he says, praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he said عن صلاتهم instead of في صلاتهم. Like this is to say who are completely heedless, and then those people who make errors in the salah. Yeah, because making errors in the salah is the opposite of a munafiq. I think this comes in Qurtubi, he explains this. Imagine, yeah, a person who never makes mistake in the numbers of salah, on the rakat of the salah, what he has read and so on. This only shows that this person is concerned with the numbers of the rakat, or people thinking that he will make mistake and so on. So this is his concentration. However, the person who makes mistake normally are those people who are pondering over the ayats of Allah. And you want to ponder over the ayats of Allah. Now if you're pondering over the ayats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're thinking in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you're responding to the ayats of Allah, you're crying, you are enjoying some places of the Quran, it is only it's rational that you will forget it. Yeah, you will miss out on some of your rakat. Or you prayed 3, or you prayed 4, you prayed 2, or you prayed 3. Yeah, so that it will happen. So this is not the concerning part. The concerning is that, as we mentioned earlier, yeah, that those people who do not have any value whatsoever for their salah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, those who make show. So the above crime was enough, that they were heedless, they didn't have any value for salah. But now they go even further. This shallow salah that they had, which was not acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyway, they grabbed that salah and sold it in the enmity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave that to the worship of people, or worship of things. He used that, yeah, to get some sort of reputation, to get some sort of honor, for people to praise him. So this thing which meant to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, yeah, this he took it from Allah and gave it to other people. So this is how huge of this. So it goes from one step to another step. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says with regards to this, yeah, that this is called shirk asghar, when you do it for the people. That inna أخوف ما أخاف عليكم الشرك الأصغر الرياء. The thing I fear most for you is the lesser shirk, showing off of good deeds, basically. Yeah. So this is the worst of the type, and it happens so regularly, and we all become prey to this. So we need to seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sort out our intention as soon as we can. Because there's another hadith which is very scary. It comes, من سمع سمع الله به ومن رأى رأى الله به. If anyone wants to have his deeds widely publicated, Allah will publicize meaning Allah will humiliate him. And if anyone makes a hypocritical display of his deeds, Allah will make a display of him. And it comes in Quran, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. This will summarize all these three ayats. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, verily the hypocrite seeks to deceive Allah, but it is He who had deceived them. And when they stand up with laziness and to be seen of men, and they do not remember Allah but little. Tafseer ibn Kathir, he says, في صلاتهم لا يخشون فيها ولا يدرؤون ما يقولون بل هم في صلاتهم ساهون لاهون وعما يراد بهم من الخير معرضون. Means during the prayer they do not feel humbleness or pay attention to what they are reciting. Rather, during their prayer they are inattentive, jesting, and avoid the goods that they are meant to receive from prayer. Like inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Salah meant to stop us from immorality and wrongdoings. We pray salah here, and as soon as we turn salam, we start backbiting, we start slandering, we start cheating, and we're planning already on the way that I am going to be doing this crime. So how did the salah stop you? So this salah hasn't given you any benefit, so which is a sign of a munafiq. May Allah safeguard us. Going to next ayah. But before we go to the next ayah, is a beautiful point. And it comes anyway in the next ayah. Anyway. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and withhold assistance. And this is something small, like we said, yeah? Like giving someone pen, pencil, helping someone out with tiny, small things. They even withheld that. And one of the, I think comes in Tafsir ibn Kathir again, it says, لا أحسن عبادة ربهم ولا أحسن إلى خلقه. And this will summarize the entire surah basically, yeah? This means that they do not worship their Lord well, nor do they treat His creation well. Does that make sense? So this is basically happening. That they do not care about the rights of Allah, huququllah, and neither huququl ibad. These are those kind of criminals who are belying the day of judgment. We will link the beginning and ending because we go about 20 minutes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about His rights, then the rights of the people, His rights, then the rights of people, His rights, then the rights of people. It goes like this all the way in the surah. So it means the rights of Allah and huququllah, huququl ibad go hand in hand. If any of them is missing, you haven't fulfilled the scale, which means is on your loss. And the one who belies the day of judgment, the rules and law of Islam, is as useless, worthless, ownerless to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like those rich guys who are useless to the society, that they don't even do simple assistance. Does that make sense? Like فَوَيْلُ أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, those who belie the day of recompense. They don't have nothing with Allah. Like this rich guy in the society who doesn't have any benefit whatsoever in the society. Even though he has things, but he's just a worthless thing. Going to next surah, yeah? Okay, concentrate. It's tough. You know, there is nothing better that you can understand in religion. There is nothing better that you can achieve in your life but other than Quran. If you are taken away from Quran, there is nothing else that you can get that will take you closer to Allah. So shaitan, which is your enemy and the enemy of Allah, yeah, he will do his very best to take you away from Quran. So consider, even though you might be sitting here, you have done so much effort, you have broken so many shackles to be here. Oh yeah, this is an amazing feat that you have achieved. But if you are here and then you still lose out on it, it's going to be a bigger disaster. Okay, so Surah Kawthar now. This is a Makki surah as well, and from here, the ulama say, like these are few statements, few words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to the pious, to those people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah? So to the people of Quran. So these are some special talks that's happening from here in A'tayna Kal-Kawthar till the end. So the entire Quran has finished. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking and addressing various people. Now, the people of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them some special nasiha. There is information with regards to his background, but just in a nutshell, yeah, because if you were to go to details, we don't have time. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was going through difficulties, through issues, and at that situation, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala revealed some surahs to give comfort to him and to, by that, to the weak of us, those people who are going through oppression right now. They can look at those surahs and they will get relief, they will get comfort from it. From those surah is Inna A'tainaka Al-Kawthar. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is going through some sort of difficult time, and the people are kind of abusing. They are verbally saying wrong things against Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Of them is one of the thing that the ulama mentioned, is that because Rasul Sallallahu did not have male children, so people used to call him Abtar, meaning he doesn't have anyone, meaning he's alone, basically, yeah. And another thing is that one of his son died, yeah, and Abu Lahab or someone, he was going around the area and he was excited that now Rasul Sallallahu has become Abtar. Yeah, that's what he was kind of claiming. Look at the psychology of the people. At that time, you're meant to comfort, but this guy is happy because a little baby has died. Yeah, so this is how severe the situation is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals some surahs to give comfort to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and by that, anyone who is going through difficult times, he needs to look at these surahs and they will come out from those hopeless or when they feel down, these stressful and anxiety situations. That one of the reasons ulama mention is that people call Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam abtar because he started to call people to something which was completely different than what those people stood for. So he had a completely different vision than those people, and he became strange to those people even though he belonged to that. And we said the tribe and the custom was the rule of life. If you were in a good clan, if you were with good people, that's it, you are safeguarded. And if you are weak or if you are alone, that's it, you are gone, you are like a prey for people to attack you. So by them saying that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has become abtar, by them they saying this, what they meant by that is that he has become alone, he has secluded himself from all the people. Now everyone kind of do not appreciate him. People, he has, na'udhu billah, caused disturbance in everyone's house. So people have become Muslim and now they are fighting over each other and so on. So he has become abtar in that sense, meaning he has become alone in his beliefs and people do not appreciate him. Same thing will happen to you when you stand up for the Quran. Like people nowadays, it is the custom that you need to do wedding in certain fashion. But if you do not, if you stand up and you said this is not going to happen, the people are like, what's wrong with you? Have you lost the plot? Are you going to put us down? You crazy. You, like that kind of situation is happening. Yeah, you become alone in your views when you stand with Quran. Yeah, when you, like, if there is well planted bid'ah that is happening in the in the locality, for example, you going to Medina Masjid and saying no one is doing milad from this year, yeah, what's going to happen to you? You will become their milad, they will do qurbani of you. Yeah. So I hope the point makes sense. Yeah, so something which is well planted in the people, yeah, I can hear in this masjid, if you were to tell people that you don't do these kind of gathering, yeah, where they consider this to have value, if they don't do it, they haven't honored their dead one. Yeah, in that sense, remember the way I'm talking. Yeah, in that sense, that if they do not gather together, they don't do this Fatiha, they haven't honored. Or if they don't do it, yeah, if they don't do it, they will get kind of guna for it. Yeah, so they need to appreciate those dead guys. If this is their understanding, and now you stand up in here like I did once, I had the entire masjid stood up against me. Yeah, so it is not that only Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the time was called abtar, yeah, or he became alone in that fashion. It is every single Muslim in this society who wants to implement Quran in their life and their family lives, they will have that kind of, they need to get ready for that situation basically. But let's go to the surah, yeah, even though there are many things. Let me mention a few. So ulama say that this surah gives you four things with which you will destroy your enemy. Two of them you need to do before two things happen from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are the two things you need to do? فَصَلِّ and wanhar. You need to do your physical ibadah and your financial. All needs to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's going to happen from Allah? He will give you Kawthar, abundance of good, which is the understanding of Quran. This is the best, and there are others that we'll talk about. And the second is Abtar. Inna shanika huwa al-abtar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy your enemy. So when you're sincere to Allah, the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. And the other way, the people change it to different meanings. Yeah. So they say, in Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, what you need to do is to do the bayan of Quran, proclaim the Quran, and you need to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. And then the last ayah, Inna shanika huwa al-abtar, and Allah will look after your enemies. If any of the first two becomes weak, which is the proclaiming of Quran, or you are being sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you spread the Quran and you establish the Quran. If any of them becomes weak, then the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be halted, like it is. Yeah, and we can ponder over this. And there is another ulama who says that the first ayah, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, in here is the shan of Rasul, the status of Rasul. The second ayah, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, the pigam of Rasul, what Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came for. And the last ayah, Inna shanika huwa al-abtar, Anjami Risala, what will be the stage, what will be the result, what will be the fruit of that. Does that make sense? Okay. Another one. There are too many, forget that. Yeah, we need to just go to the surah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the one who gives Kawthar, Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful, the one who has sent Kawthar in the shape of Quran to all mankind. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful, He has made the heart of His pious servants fill with the light of this Kawthar, i.e. the Quran. You need to understand what Kawthar is, yeah? Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. Indeed, we have granted you al-Kawthar. We're saying indeed, it shows emphasis that it is certain, and by using the past tense, granted you, yeah, it's in the past tense. This shows certainty, because when you say this is from the language of Arab, yeah? If something is even in English, yeah, it's a done deal. I mean, done. That's it. Nothing about it. Yeah. So like you talk in the past, meaning there is 100% certainty. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying this, that it is done. He's giving more comfort to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What is Kawthar? There are many opinions. But Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, he says it means abundance of goods and include everything. And there is a poetry which comes in Qurtubi, because there are two ways of saying things. One is kathir, yeah, like he will know, I forgot his name. Harith will know what kathir is, yeah, lots. And Kawthar, this one is like you're putting hyperbole on a word, like you go to gym, yeah, you give big muscles, yeah, same thing, you give big muscles to the words. So this is what this Kawthar is. So it means lots and lots, but this Kawthar, because there could be lots of anything, but Kawthar is only good stuff, yeah, only good, while kathir can be anything. And the Qurtubi, his poetry is وَأَنْتَ كَثِيرٌ يَبْنَ مَرْوَانَ طَيِّبٌ وَكَانَ أَبُوكَ ابْنُ عَقَائِلِ كَوْثَرًا. I mean, you are okay, oh Marwan, but your dad was, mashallah, he was a legend, basically, yeah. Does that make sense? Even though the two words have been used, kathir has been used and Kawthara. Kathir has been used for the son, and Kawthara has been used for his dad, to say that, oh mashallah, he was a legend. Now, what is Kawthar that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? There are, as we said, lots of opinions. But we said abundance of good, which means everything. It includes everything. But the one which are well known, it is the Kawthar, the fountain of how the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will get in Akhirah, yeah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared. And there is a hadith concerning that عن سعيد بن جبير عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه قال عنه قال الكوثر الخير الكثير الذي أعطاه الله إياه. قال أبو بشر قلت لسعيد إن أناسا يزعمون أنه نهر في الجنة. فقال سعيد النهر الذي في الجنة من الخير الذي أعطاه الله إياه. The word, Ibn Abbas says, the word Al-Kawthar means the abundant good which Allah gave to him, to Rasulullah. Yeah? And Abu Bishr said, I said to Sa'ad, some people claim that it, meaning Al-Kawthar, is a river in paradise. So Sa'id, He replied, the river which is in paradise is one item of that good which has been bestowed upon Rasulullah. Does that make sense? So that is one portion of it according to this hadith. And the various things that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Rasulullah are some of them are here. One, he became the prophet. This is from the goodness that Allah has given to Rasulullah. Another, he is a shahid. He is a bringer of good news, a warner, a caller to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a lamp spreading light, a siraj munira. He is the last prophet. He is rahmatul lil alameen. Quran, a living miracle was given to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Qibla, the history of the world has been changed for Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maqami Mahmud, he is mentioned 24 hours in the adhan, throughout the world, yeah. So his name is being circulated throughout the world. And he is being called with beautiful names in Quran. And whenever he is addressed with his own name, he is addressed with the risala. So it's all honors upon honors that Allah has given to Rasulullah in this dunya, in the Quran, as well as what he has prepared for him in Jannah. So, and another thing that these criminals used to call Rasulullah Abtar, because what they meant by this, one of the view, is that his progeny will not go further. If he does not have sons, meaning that's it, yeah? He's not going to have any family behind Rasulullah. So they use that. Now, just imagine, yeah, we even by just having name Muhammad, we feel good about it, yeah. We give the Muhammad name to our children because we love Rasulullah. And forget Rasulullah how high his status is. His Sahaba, his companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, all these, yeah, like my name, Abdul Rahman. All these we gave it because of his companions, who they were. And of course what he means, Abdul Rahman is a slave of Rahman. But because we gave name of Umar and Ali because of them. And some people, yeah, they even attribute themselves to the family of Rasulullah. You are Saadat, you are Bacha, and this and so on. Yeah, Hashemites, Alwi, and those to the Sahaba family. They pride themselves in this, whether they are real or fake, but they still do it because they want to be attributed to this. But now, even if it's direct family of Abu Lahab or Abu Jahl, he would not want himself to be known as a Lahabi or Jahabi, yeah? Or Jahali. Even the names are some strange names, yeah? They don't want to be known. No one wants to. So their name has been completely cut off, while the name of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his owners have reached different heights that we don't even need to explain because we all know about it. Next. But just to combine two things, we said Quran is the Kawthar, which is of the strongest of that comes oftenly, and this is the best Kawthar, yeah, because it's a living miracle. And the Jannah, the Hawd that we Rasulullah will get in paradise. Now, if you hold on to this Kawthar, yeah, if you hold on to this Kawthar, you will be able to drink from the Kawthar in Jannah. Does that make sense? So this is a Kawthar given to you. If you appreciate this, then you will be able to get that. Does that make sense? Number 2. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. So pray to your Lord and offer sacrifice. As we said, this prayer is not just one. It does not mean one thing, yeah, just you pray salah and that's it, done. It requires all the worships of your bodily, everything about your body has to be for Allah. All your financial has to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will say one ayah, even though there are many things that we meant to mention, but because we don't have time, yeah. قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Say, indeed my prayer, my rituals of sacrifice, my living and my dying are for Allah, Lord of the world. So everything about me, everything, whether this is me sitting here or me going to the toilet, yeah, just I'm giving you explicit examples, all has to be according to the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything changes, even if I'm sitting in the masjid, but it is against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning I'm here to do something wrong, yeah, it is a problem. Yeah, and if I'm sitting in the toilet and maybe I'm reading Tafseer in Quran, mashallah, I go Quran with me, it's wrong, it's not allowed. So every single thing, all your affair, everything about you yourself, as well as everyone around you, it goes to you give light, yeah, like your example is like a candle, you meant to give light to other people, yeah. So everything about you and that comes out from you is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you, basically, yeah. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. Indeed, your enemy is the one cut off. And Tafseer ibn Kathir, he summarized this beautifully. And then inshallah we end it quick. أي إن مبغضك يا محمد ومبغض ما جئت به من الهدى والحق والبرهان الساطع والنور المبين هو الأبتر الأقل الأذل المنقطع ذكره. Indeed, he who hates you, O Muhammad, and he hates what you have come with of guidance, truth, clear proof, and manifested light, he is the most cut off, meanest, lowest person who will not be remembered. Like those people, we said those criminals, yeah, the worst of the time, who wants to be from their family? Even their own children, they are from their family, they would wish no one find out who they belong to. Yeah, this is the situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely cut them off. And we need to understand a few things. Yeah, what abtar I want to mention, because this is relevant. I don't want to just tell you history things and that has happened and this has happened. I want you to, how do you relate this to yourself? How does abtar become in your life? Abtar is the way, is when you do not receive the benefit of something. Like this person who is not going to receive the benefit of the children, meaning their legacy is not going to be carried on, is called abtar in one sense. Yeah. Now the wealth the person has is not going to benefit this person. A person is stingy, conjuice, bakhil. Yeah. This is a type of abtar. You having, as your children all, yeah, you having really bad manners, may Allah safeguard you, or you children of those criminals, children I'm talking about, yeah, they are evil people. They do not give any benefit to their parents. They are abtar. Your heart, who is, if these criminals' heart, yeah, if it's free from iman, is abtar. If anything which does not give its due rights to it is abtar. To such an extent, there is even a saying, it's a weak hadith, yeah, but it says, كُلُّ امْرِئٍ ذِي بَالٍ لَا يُبْدَأُ فِيهِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. That even anything that starts without Bismillah is abtar. It does not have any goodness in, yeah, this is what they're saying. So, like we said, this heart which does not have any goodness, does not have iman, is abtar. This Quran, yeah, that you do not implement in your life, you are abtar without it. Does that make sense? You are free of goodness without this Quran. You are free of goodness if you do not have, you haven't recognized your purpose in life. No matter what you achieve, what kind of legacy you leave, but if you haven't understood your purpose, you are abtar. Does that make sense? Is that understood? Yeah, so this surah is relevant to us. It's not just talking about Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed those criminals at the time. It applies to us as well. And lastly, from the Kawthar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, that has been given, is the destruction of enemy, which is the last ayah. Yeah? So this is from the Kawthar. This is from the abundance of good. You have enemy, you have those people who are causing you trouble, those people who are causing you harm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed them from the scene. It is something good that has been done to you. Yes? So Kawthar has been mentioned at the beginning, and the implementation of it has been mentioned in the last ayah. So all surah is coherent. All surah is like one statement. Okay, alhamdulillah. Do you know, as we said, this requires your full attention. You know, you haven't sat in tafsir classes for a long time. You haven't at all. Forget long time. And you haven't gone through, so what we call it, these terminologies and things like that. So it will be very tough. But as we grow forward, yeah, inshallah, you will understand. It will become easy. So be patient. Come on time. Come with full concentration. And you know, this Quran that we are learning here, it is no because of who teaching you. It is why you have come. Like we said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلًا. If you are really struggling, you really want it, Allah will give it to you. Because at the end of the day, it is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you are here coming to learn about Allah. And Allah will not deprive you. Even if I'm giving the worst of the lessons, yeah, but you are here for Allah, Allah will not let you be abtar, yeah, like we said. Allah will not leave you without any benefit. You will definitely receive it. Because Allah says, Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, the one who teaches Quran. So His mercy will definitely reach you as long as you are sincere, as long as you want it. So have this confidence in you that you'll definitely learn it, even though if you don't understand most of it when you sit in the class, yeah? Does that make sense? May Allah accept from you. May Allah keep you with the Quran. Jazakallah khair.